All right, this is All Things 80s with Garrett, and I'm Garrett. I'm at Greenfield Park in front of Greenfield Lake in Wilmington, North Carolina. This is a Silver Bullet location. I've been here before. If you've seen any of my other Silver Bullet videos, and I'm back. And I had this theory a while back. It's been a couple years in the workings that the gazebo that you see Jane go by, coming to where Marty and Brady were flying their kites. She passes by the gazebo and you could see it in the background, but we didn't know if it was movie magic or if it was actually here. Now the gazebo is over by the bridge and by the bridge scene, but we got confirmation earlier this year that the gazebo was actually over here. I'll show you where, very close vicinity of where it was. We're going to kind of walk this through, and I'll show you the scene. I'll show you where it was, and I'll show you where it is now. All right, so I'm back in about the same spot I was a couple months ago. I have some updated news. The bridge has been taken down. We'll go over there and take a look at that as well. So now I'm gonna go show you where Jane came through.
Brady, I got it. Great. Marty, Clawsaw, you get out of that tree. Supper was ready an hour ago, Dumbo. Can you help me with the boat, please?
So about right here is where Marty's tree was, and where Marty was flying the kite. He got his rainbow color kite caught up in the limb. He climbed up, and I know I've talked about this before. He miraculously got up on that limb, and he was getting his kite down. Brady would have been over here. There would have been a tree right there, and he would have been over there. But this is where he was. Jane comes down and on her bicycle, and I want to show you, and she passes by the gazebo. But we think the gazebo was right over there, but it's over on the other side of that stone looking structure right there. It's behind those trees over there, but it would have been, there had been too many trees and it would have not have been a great shot. So the gazebo was originally over there. Obviously it's been moved now to over where the bridge was, but we're going to go over there and I'm going to show you exactly where it was. But this was all movie magic. She did not come down this hill right here. Marty did not go up this hill right here. It's only, you see them and it kind of like moves like here and it cuts, and we're going to go over and I'm going to show you where it was cut, where it was. But take a look at where at this stone thing from this side and see the skate park where that's located. We're gonna go over that side and I'm gonna show you where the gazebo was.
Marty, Clawsaw, you get out of that tree.
Okay, I'm showing you, this is where Jane comes from the right side of the screen right, but it had been her left around the tree, and then kind of came in front of the tree and then comes down and gets off her bike somewhere around here. What kind of throws us a couple things here, this sidewalk that we see here that's not original, so that kind of messes you up because you kind of think, no, she's on the sidewalk. It's like, well, the sidewalk used to be, that skate park was not there. The sidewalk went to the right, so it would have been over to the right of us here. But two things, there's several things here that kind of like gives us that we know that this is the right spot. One is the pine tree that's directly in front of us. If you look closely, and I'll show you a better shot of it, there is stone in front of that, and you see that when she comes, there's stone in front of that leaning pine tree, and you see it there. Let me go back out. And then there's two oak trees, and I think where this little one is here was the first one that we see, and the one behind it is still there. There's a big like crater looking area where they planted the new one, and it looks like that's where the old one was. But again, if you look at the shots, the oak tree that's the one that's still here, the one that's in the back, pretty azaleas in front of it, is there's stone in front of it as well still, and I'll show you that. So it kind of like confirms that this is the spot. So this would have been where Jane comes this way and gets off her bike, and she's talking toward the camera in my direction. Well, let me show you. What's behind me is the parking lot, and this is the parking lot where I believe where her pulls in. This is where Private Justice, when Andy pulls up, and he's like, you know, and they're coming out to the park to look for a serial killer, you know, which we know is the werewolf, but at the time we didn't know that. But this is what she's looking at, not the kite scene. That is back across on the other side of those stone structures over there. That's where the kite scene was filmed. So movie magic happened for certain. So that means when Marty leaves the area up there, it shows him stop right here and look back, and he's looking at Brady. He's supposed to be looking at Brady, and he's looking at this, you know, the whole discernment, kind of fear, kind of like the foreknowing of what's to come, of maybe the forbearing of the moment. You kind of, you know, with the gazebo behind him. And this is also where Jane gets on her bike and rides back up and goes to the right, and the sidewalk takes a curve to the right this direction back up. But we see the gazebo would have been to the right of this pine tree, with this oak tree to the left. Remember, again, this skate park wasn't here. It was not built up. It was more flat. So it's kind of hard to get a great eye shot level, but we're gonna go up here and we'll show you a little bit more. But again, movie magic did happen. Movie magic is always fun to see. But let's walk up and let's kind of see. But one of the things I want to show you, that in the shot, it looks like these things are almost even. But what I want to show you is that where the first oak tree would have been, I'm gonna stand, and you can see how it's just like a crater area there. I'm standing where it is. You can still see this pine tree still has some distance. There's probably 20 feet between me and the pine tree, and it's probably a good 30, 40 feet between me and the next pine tree, or the next oak tree over here. And that's the one that we talked about, has the stone under it, But we were talking about, you would have saw the gazebo to the right of the pine tree in the background, and it's somewhere in the area. Fence line back there, and right now what you're seeing is the skate park line. But I'll show you. I'll go up there. I'll go stand up there, and I'll show you the tennis court fence line, and I'll show you the stone. And Dale found, this is what's great, Dale found, he found the stone. It was like going, you got to think, Garrett, he goes, this wasn't here, all this buildup, so you would have saw straight through this area, and you could have seen everything that was behind it. It kind of shows you this, and by Dale finding the stone here in front of this tree, really was able to match up this site. And by doing that, he also, when he got the shot for me, he also got this tree in the lineup, and there you could see the stone under it. And so it's like,
which you can see in the movie.
Which you can see in the movie. And I mean, you can see that in the movie, and right on over here, you can see that in the movie. And unfortunately, this tree that was, you could tell it's kind of sunk in there. You can see where it was. It's been okay. Yeah, that's it. Dale's gonna go stand in it. So you could see there. You could see about how big of a tree it was, which looked like it was a pretty big tree, and that's what the size of this tree is here. Look how big this thing is. This thing is coming up close on. I don't know if I can do it justice, but this is a massive tree. But you could tell that. I mean, I know it's 40 years ago, but it was a big tree then. Well, I mean, it's still big. It's a big tree now. It's even bigger. I mean, it's like, but this is kind of neat. So let's go over here, And I really do believe that somehow or another, these trees, these two right here, these V trees, are, you know, I don't know exactly where that trail, when Herb comes up to the gazebo, I don't know exactly if it comes in from this way, if it came in from this way, but it was somewhere in there is where the gazebo was, and I really do think you see this V tree in the background. Okay, I'm looking from somewhere in the vicinity where the gazebo would have been, and it's hard to imagine here. You got to give some a little bit of, the skate park wasn't here. This area's been built up. It's like so, but there we're on the back side of where there's the pine tree right there. We saw Jane go on this side of it and kind of cut in front of it, and then it kind of be V back to the left from this angle. But from behind her, we can see, you know, when she goes in front of the pine tree, we can see the pine tree. I've already showed you that. And then looks like the pine tree, it looks like the gazebo somewhere here, and behind her, you could see the tennis court fence line go across where behind her, and you also see some stones, and I don't know if it's the stone right there. I don't know if it's that stone or if it's that stone that's right, it's on the other side right there, and I'll try to get you a better shot of it. But this sign would not have, this old Greenfield Park sign would not have been here. It was moved over here. It was added later. It was not, so this is not original. But the tennis court's been here for years, and so that's for certain. We do see that in the background. And we do see lights behind Herb when he comes up.
Now and at the hour of our death.
There's two V trees, and I think they're right over here. And I think they are close by to the gazebo, so I'm thinking about where Dale is sitting. This is the area somewhere like right here, somewhere between where Dale's sitting and maybe this little indention right here is where the gazebo was. So maybe close by to, Dale said there's a little entryway over here to the side. Maybe all this is like together. And I feel like when Herb comes walking up, there may have been another pathway, because over there is the parking lot, and that's where they parked. And then I think he comes this way. So I think this area right here is where the gazebo was. This is, you know, where I'm standing right here is this part of the skate park. This is really close to where the gazebo was.
I figured it was somebody somewhere knew something. It's just a matter of tracking down the right people. We've been out here, you know, for years trying to pinpoint exactly where it was at, and just looking at historical aerials and trying to like triangulate everything.
Right.
It's just so hard to know for sure.
So, Spring Billy, this piece of sidewalk used to go to it.
Right.
Okay. And kind of the middle of it is right there where that orange flag is at the corner of that fence pole.
The middle of the gazebo is
Right about there.
right there. Perfect. That's what Billy said. So, and I'm assuming that there were these were all around it, like leading up to the different entrances.
Probably so.
Gotcha.
Probably so.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey man.
He couldn't tell me about the trees. He wasn't sure if this smaller tree was still here or not, but he thought maybe these may have been.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that these two trees were here. Okay, but that confirms what we were thinking, because we were thinking it was somewhere right on this concrete slab.
Yeah, that's where
right here.
Billy's saying is right there.
Cool. But the center should be where the flag is.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey man, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
You too.
And now let's go over and let's take a look at where the gazebo moved to. Now that we know where it was, let's go see where it was moved to. Okay, so we are over by the old Lions Bridge, which is down here. And this is called the Sunken Garden area. And I think it's all because of this area over here. That's what they think the park office, they called it. beautiful area over here. This is a gorgeous area, but the gazebo hasn't always been here. This is where all this started from, was when I was like, it just didn't match up. And even though we talked about movie magic and whatever, they can film things here and then you know, put it together over there. And we showed that they did do movie magic, but this is where it all, you know, started from. That I just didn't feel like that this gazebo was originally here. And we talked to a guy in the park office just earlier today. It was on the telephone, but he said he was with another guy that actually moved the gazebo from where the skate park, which I just showed you a few minutes ago, over to here. And just want to show you that it's, you know, it's still here. It's beautiful. I mean, it needs to be kept up a little bit better. It looks like the top needs to be cleaned and whatever, but at least it's still here. Unlike the bridge, and just a you know, a few months ago, I was here with Dale and I showed you the bridge, and I'll show you some clips of it just to give you, I want to give you guys who can't be here, can't see it before it's tore down, before it's replaced. And it's going to be replaced, so we just don't know what it's going to look like. But there you go. This is kind of, do not enter. They've already taken some of it down, so you can't even get over there on it. But up there, you know, how cool was that? That, you know, that's where Marty and the Silver Bullet, you know, the new Silver Bullet was shooting off fireworks at night. He came in obviously from the other side, actually went out the other side, but this is the side that the Werewolf was on. And, you know, and it's kind of like, it's all creepy sounding, and he's kind of going through the branches and whatever. And then all of a sudden he gets up here and he just kind of starts running toward Marty, and Marty just like shoots the shoots the thing, and it shoots him in the eye. Oh, it's just great. It's just a great scene. And, you know, just to know that Corey Haim was out here, I mean, it just makes my heart, you know, good. It's just, you know, I miss Corey Haim, and I think he's just you know, a wonderful actor, and I wish he could have been with us a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. I hate to be selfish about it, but I do. I like to see what he could have done in his adulthood more, and, you know, in these older years. That's all. It's been really cool. But this is an end to an era, but we get at least one more look at the bridge before it's gone. And it is sad to see that it is. Since it's been torn down, I hope they rebuild it, one, and then two, I hope they actually try to rebuild it in the same design as it was. It would be really cool if they call this, you know, Marty's Bridge. The Silver Bullet Bridge is great too, but especially now since you have the gazebo is here. I've always thought this was just a piece of history, like movie history. There should be a plaque or something out here, you know, talking about that, about the significance of, you know, this gazebo, this bridge. And this bridge was used in Matlock. This bridge was used in Earl and the Supremes. I mean, so it's been used in One Christmas with Henry Winkler. So there's been several other productions that, you know, that use this particular area and this particular bridge. This is the mystery of the moving gazebo, and it got us to here. And I'm with Dale, and we're like right here at the lake. Thanks for watching. We're gonna cover the parking lot scene in the 40th anniversary video. We'll cover more of that, and we'll cover some of this stuff in that as well. But that's coming out later this year. It's hard to believe it's the 40th anniversary of Silver Bullet, and we're just, you know, excited about the 40th anniversary. And it's just cool to be out here today and the other days that we've been out here trying to find how this stuff lined up and all that kind of stuff. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode of All Things Age with Garrett.
This is for the good guys.